we've got a great guest, Sheriff Richard Mack, who has been very active in Second Amendment circles for a long time and founded the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association back in the day. And deportations and other issues around that are central to what's happening in our country today. So I want to bring on Sheriff Mack now, and let's talk about all this. Thanks for joining me, Sheriff Mack. I appreciate it.
Well, Todd, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Yes. So first, before we get into deportations and some other things, Arizona, there is so much stuff coming out of Arizona. Human trafficking, you've got the cartel influence in government. What's happening in that state? And will it be corrected in time?
It looks like it's moving in the right direction. The Justice Department just came in and obtained and took a lot of the voting records from Maricopa County, which the problem with Maricopa County is that it's just way too big. It contains about 85% of the entire population of the state of Arizona. It should be divided up about 3 or 4 or 5 times. And we only have 15 counties in Arizona. We definitely need 3 or 4 or 5 more, and it needs to all come from Maricopa County. It has become its own Arizona empire, and they control the elections, and they really botched and had a lot of election fraud during the last 2 or 3 elections. And finally, something has actually happened to where now the evidence is going to come forward. You're right about the cartels having huge influence here, but cartels, I was at a meeting, and I speak Spanish. Yo hablo español. And I was at a meeting about 6-7 years ago in Tucson where 12 university professors from Mexico were there. This is all the major universities in Mexico. And I was talking to them, and we were having a nice little exchange, all in Spanish. And most of them spoke very, very good English, spoke English very well. And so we were all talking in Spanish, and I asked them the question I've always wanted to ask, because my degree is in Latin American studies with a minor in sociology. And I asked him, I said, look, I have studied this and I've seen it, but I want to hear it from you. How much control does the cartels have? Do the cartels have over the government in Mexico and throughout Latin America? And they said, Mexico, 100%. Wow. 100%. I would take that control and put it in Arizona and make it probably 25% at least.
Yeah.
And they set up I'm probably one of the few sheriffs in American history that has crawled through the drug tunnels along the border of Mexico. And this one was Agua Prieta, which is right across the street from Douglas, Arizona. And the sheriff there invited all the sheriffs in Arizona to come and see this that he had discovered and confiscated. It had a home, and it had a pool table over it, over the tunnel that went down into the underground tunnel. So you climb down through this shaft about 50 feet, you go, and then you crawl about 120 feet over to a warehouse in Arizona. So the house that we were in was the Arizona side, and then crawl 120 feet south to this warehouse, and they would take humans and drugs and anything else they could at any time. It was only about 4 feet high, so you had to get down or literally crawl. And it also had a flooding mechanism. So if anybody caught them and was trying to catch them in there, it would flood and drown any of the pursuers. So usually police.
Wow.
And millions and millions of dollars worth just to establish that transportation mechanism called a drug tunnel. And then I also rode the machine gun boats along McAllen, Texas, along the Rio Grande. And we would go down, up and down the Rio Grande on this machine gun boat, and cartels standing next to their trucks would wave to us. And these people are just as bad as the international terrorists, and now they have formed a cooperation with the international terrorists who the Biden administration allowed to come into our country, and sometimes they even brought them in. They put cartels and gangs in Tren de Aragua on planes and had them come here. Anybody thinks that those gangs from Venezuela actually walk 4,000 miles to get here? No.
Yeah.
So, a big farce. And the treason and the treachery of this Biden administration has no bounds. What we know about it, it's 10 times worse than what we actually know.
Yeah.
And this is they form shill companies, and then those companies make huge donations to campaigns and parties, usually the Democrat Party, and that's one of their partners also. The Democrat Party was an agent in bringing millions and millions of illegal aliens from across the world, and now they're defending them being here and staying here and making sure that they all get registered to vote and that they don't have to have ID to vote. This is all a plan from the Democrat Party.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
What about the deportations? I mean, that has been advertised during the campaigns. It has happened some, but not really anywhere near what needs to happen. What say you on that?
What say I? Yeah, I say that the sheriffs have failed to get involved in that and should have from the get-go. And we put it out to all the sheriffs. We put it out to everybody that police departments and sheriff's offices should be helping. Why? Because it makes it safer for the community and it makes it more effective for ICE to get a hold of the right people. And what do? The Democrats stage riots, and even Democrats now, including the Attorney General of the state of Arizona, recommended that Arizonans and citizens across the country, because it wasn't just Arizona, it was several others, it definitely was in Minnesota also, that they take a gun to the riots or the protests. They said protests, and if anybody in a mask approach you, you have a right to shoot them. This is absolutely the most insane Democrat move. They don't even want people to have guns.
Yeah.
And now they want them armed to go on protests against ICE. The sheriff should be stopping that. Sheriff Luna in Los Angeles has done nothing. He has stood back. He is hiding in his office and allowing these violent protests to continue and riots to continue. Sheriff O'Donnell in Multnomah County, which is Portland, she's done the same thing. And Sheriff Dart in Cook County, which is Chicago, those counties, those cities in those areas are in those counties. And the sheriff has jurisdiction. And he should be getting involved in making sure that, one, ICE is protected, two, that the citizens are being protected, and three, that deportation is happening. Most sheriffs want these horrible criminals and gangs and terrorists out of their country, out of their county and out of our country. But they're being blocked by, like in Washington State right now, the Attorney General is suing sheriffs for helping with a deportation because they've declared themselves, dun, 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 sanctuary counties and cities. You can't. This is the most lawlessness I've ever seen, because you cannot make a law like Washington State woke extremist leftist legislators have done. They've actually created laws fake laws and unlawful laws that allow them to break the law and allow aiding and abetting, which is the definition of treason in the Constitution. Aiding and abetting our enemies and criminals. These are our enemies. These terrorists who have come into our country are our enemies. And they're from Iran, many of them, and their sleeper cells are now all over the country. What do you think they're here for?
Yeah, no kidding. So it's really frustrating, and we're heading into the midterms, so there's probably not going to be a lot done because they want the Hispanic vote, and that was a big issue in Minnesota and elsewhere. So how do you see this going over the next couple of years as in the first Trump term?
Unless we can get the voter tallies and the registrations of votes to remove these people from the voter list, we're going to be in trouble, because this is all about voter fraud, and it's all about the Democrats promoting voter fraud and then claiming that there's no such thing. Yeah, just absolutely astonishing. And folks, if the borders are open and no law enforcement at all at the border, who do you think is going to want and not just want, but who do you think is going to come into our country?
Yeah,
and they're here, and these sleeper cells are everywhere, and the terrorists and cartels are working in unison, working unitedly to make sure that their dastardly deeds continue and that the election will fall to the Democrats who brought these people here in the first place.
So you created an organization, tell us about it, the CSPOA.org. What is that?
Well, it's actually the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, which I've been doing for about 25, 30 years now, closer to 30 years, ever since I sued the federal government. I actually sued the Clinton administration and won a case at the United States Supreme Court, which is vital that every citizen know about this case. But I formed this for the people. CSPOA, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Don't make a mistake that you can only join if you're a cop or former cop or sheriff. This was formed for you so that when government becomes venal and oppressive and violates the sanctity of our Constitution, that the people in every county would have a person, a place to go for protection and liberty, and a place where you can depend on help if government comes in. Like, let's say the IRS wants to come in and take your cars, take your home, and take you. The IRS is the biggest criminal bureaucracy that we've ever had in this country. Trump has talked about abolishing it, and rightfully so. It should be, and the income tax should also be abolished, but that's another argument for another day, perhaps. But the thing of it is, if you have a constitutional sheriff who knows his duty to protect and defend the Constitution and protect and defend the people against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and it's not our fault, it's not your sheriff's fault, that parts of our government have become domestic enemies. And this is a peaceful and effective process. We've already had hundreds of sheriffs stand up to federal bureaucracies, the FDA, the EPA, Army Corps of Engineers, and the IRS, and even the FBI at times, because they're exceeding their authority and they're committing crimes against the American people. And the judges have refused to provide relief. The legislatures have refused to rein these people in. So that leaves it to us locally. And the ultimate authority, the ultimate law, executor of the law in your county is your sheriff. He reports to you. You appoint him through the electoral process, and he reports only to you. This is key to this. The sheriff only has one boss or supervisor, and it's the people of his county. And he has to walk a fine line with that for 4 years, and then he asks you to reinstate him as your sheriff, your employee. And that's what's key about the sheriff. He's the only elected law enforcement officer anywhere in the country. And again, he works for you. And so we ask that each of you become a member of our CSPOA posse. It's right on our website at cspoa.org. There's a small monthly fee for that. It's very minimal. Or you can do the annual fee, whatever. But this is the peaceful and effective process. And it's the holy cause of liberty, as described by Patrick Henry, that we all must be a part of. Jefferson warned us that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, and we help you with that. We help you keep vigilant. We help you and train you every Wednesday. We had our posse webinar yesterday. We train you to work with your sheriff, how to work with your sheriff, how to approach your sheriff, and how to get involved. Folks, this isn't very much time, very little. If you want to really get involved, you can, but there's very little time. I know people are busy, and we appreciate that. But don't forget what Jefferson warned us. We must be involved in the process of liberty. We, the people, the first three words of our Constitution, are vital and essential to the cause of liberty. We offer you that, and please go to cspoa.org and become a part of this solution. We are solution-oriented, we are peaceful, and we are effective.
Sheriff Mack, thank you very much. I want to have you back down the road and talk more about as this whole deportation thing works out or doesn't work out. But thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Let's stay in touch because I think it's going to be the biggest problem coming in 2026.
All right, sir. Take care.
Thanks,
Thanks
sir.
for coming on.